Hey everybody out there in the land of YouTube, this is Annette Dion. I am the host and founder of the Psychic News Network. Welcome! Today is Friday, May 20th, 2022. And I didn't do a PNN on Wednesday because I was doing a marathon show with Corey, Bridge Cape Ann. I don't think I posted that on my community page, but it was insane once again. It was a lot of fun as usual. So thank you for all that did join me. And if you want to check that out, if you got nothing to do this weekend, if you have a spare 3 hours, check it out. And I will post it on my community page too. So I hope that you're doing well. I am pretty filled up with news, pretty overflowing with news, and I'm going to cover as much as I possibly can. And then we'll be on our merry way until probably Monday. But I want to just let you know every Sunday I do Church of Spirituality. It's my own church right here on my channel. And it's at 1 live at 1 Eastern time, 1 p.m. And you can always watch it afterwards. But for some reason that one takes a very long time to post. So sometimes it's not till the next day. I don't know why. YouTube is very quirky. But we're still here, and that's all that matters on YouTube. The Republican faction of the United States government has gone full-on rogue, autocratic. So I don't want anybody to, sugarcoat it or be like, well, it's not that bad, or or anything like that. Case in point. So many cases in point. Case in point, Mark Meadows and Tucker Carlson, to name a couple, and I'm pretty sure Marjorie Taylor Greene, and I didn't get the list yet, but it's all the usual suspects, are in Hungary, hanging out with Orban, who's all about how to disguise autocracy within a democracy. And they're learning the ropes, so to speak. So this is something that's been, methodically planned out, how to substitute democracy with autocracy. There's no need to pretend it's not happening. There's no need to, I just won't think about it. There's no need for that. This is the time for action. We can rest on our laurels after we've done the job and won. We will be focusing and visualizing and intending every Tuesday. We're doing 20 on Tuesdays, and we're getting together for 30 minutes and doing 20 minutes of intending. Give an extra 10 minutes just to play with. And send an email to AnnetteDion7@gmail.com and just type 20 in the subject line, and you will receive a Zoom invite every single Tuesday. For Grassroots of Democracy, the email address is grassrootsofdemocracy@gmail.com to join us on Thursday nights and on Saturdays. Thursdays at 7 Eastern, Saturdays at 4:30 p.m. Grassrootsofdemocracy@gmail.com and type AYE in the subject line. I'm doing my part. And the groups are growing. We have to intend that we're saving democracy. We have to see it saved. We have to see people engaging, people getting the truth out, people fighting the Fox propaganda. It has no business being called news. Right now, Fox propaganda is turning around this whole idea that actually what the Democrats are doing, this is what they're accusing the Democrats of, is opening up wide open borders. If you watch Fox propaganda, this is what you'll hear. So I'll save you the trouble and the nausea. And I'll just tell you, if you were to tune into Fox propaganda, you would hear the immigrants are coming, the immigrants are coming, the immigrants are coming, they're going to take us over, and the Democrats are just opening up the borders to bring them all in so that we can have more Democratic votes. The irony of that is a lot of the votes from people that come in as immigrants from Mexico, Latino, countries, they actually tend to vote more Republican. Anyway, nobody knows what they're talking about, including me sometimes. That's what you're going to hear on Fox propaganda and any other right-wing extremist outlet. That's what you're going to hear. The immigrants are coming. The immigrants are coming. We have to be saved from the immigrants. Hello, I'm an immigrant. I'm a descendant from immigrants. And pretty much, like, I don't know what the percentage is, but maybe 80% of the country have immigrant origins. I wasn't. My ancestors weren't born here. Probably many of yours weren't either. This is ludicrous. They are actually turning around their whole idea of that we're not promoting white supremacy, the right-wing news, so-called news. They're actually saying that right now instead. They're doubling down on the whole idea that anyone who doesn't have white colored skin is a threat. I wish I was kidding. I really wish I was kidding. So CPAC is in Hungary, and they're learning how to, conduct a coup. Let's just put it that way. And I know that Putin was helping Trump. I know, when I say I know, I'm talking about my psychic facts impressions, that Putin was involved in Trump planning the coup. He helped. That is my psychic impression, and it's exceedingly strong. As is my psychic impression, as I've said again and again and again. And I was kind of holding my breath when I heard on the news that some GOP senator, I think he's a senator, they have evidence of him leading reconnaissance tours through the Capitol on January 5th, 2021. And when I heard that, and then, they go to a commercial break and they make you watch the stupid commercials about drugs and everything. So then that comes back around and I'm like, I've had a vision of Kevin McCarthy on a video camera giving reconnaissance tours. So one thing for sure is I wasn't off base with the senators giving, and the speaker, giving reconnaissance tours. I mean, not the speaker. Anyway, I'm dropping my glasses. I saw Kevin McCarthy. I know he wants to be speaker, that's why I said that. I saw him in my mind's eye giving reconnaissance tours on January 5th of the Capitol. I do believe that they also have video of Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert, to name a couple more. So the one that they came up with was Louder Milk, loudly broadcasting his criminality, and I think he's denying it. And I'd said this before too. When it comes to January 6th, when it comes to the public hearings, when it comes to all this information being outed, all these Republicans all they're going to say, those who there's glaring evidence in the form of video, in the form of transcripts and texts and all the rest, all they're going to say is, no, we didn't. No, that didn't happen. As we see right in front of our eyes, it happening. They're going to go so far, mark my words, they're going to go so far as to say those videotapes are fake. And they've been altered by the Democrats. Get ready. I'm just giving you a heads up, and you probably figured this out anyway. We're going to hear a lot of that. There are many, many organizations that are working extremely hard to save democracy. So let that be a beacon of hope for you. I do, and I'm going to look at it in the cards tonight, I do have a strong feeling right now that the sleeping giant is awakening, the sleeping giant being the Democratic, people that want democracy, okay? You don't even have to be a registered Democrat. This has gone beyond that. People in this country that want us to be a democratic country that's the sleeping giant that's getting poked, that's going to rise up. That is rising up now. I can feel it. So if you tune in, you can feel it too. It's horrifying what they're doing. And I want to urge everybody not to forget what happened on Saturday. I know we haven't forgotten it. And by the same token, there's a tendency in the news to get covered up with other news and to forget about the people who are suffering. Think about back in December, the shooting in Michigan at a high school where I forget how many kids perished. Think about in Texas. See, now I'm trying to remember which city it was in. The shootout at the Walmart. How these stories have gotten buried up in other news stories because there's been so much. How about the guy that plowed into the holiday parade just last November? Which was kind of a freak thing, but I'm just saying that we tend to move on to other news. What happened in that grocery store needs to not be forgotten. And the funerals are happening now, and the right-wing extremist Christians are wanting us to just forget it and to focus on, oh, well, the Democrats are letting all these immigrants across the borders, and they're trying to steal elections by getting them to vote. It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. I'm going to read these cards for a little bit right now. This is a John Holland deck. I was reading these the other night with Corey. You see how used they are. I've done a lot of readings in my life. Countless. Thousands. And if you want a reading, I have room. AnnetteDionPsychic@gmail.com. I am not one of those psychics that has a long waiting list. I don't know why. I think my guides want me to just not to be too busy. I dropped my glasses. Hang on. Be right with ya. Be forewarned, if you watch the video with me and Corey from Wednesday night, there's a lot of candy. Actual candy. Because our viewers are sending us lots of presents in the form of food. I don't know, I guess they think we love to eat. I do have to say this. I was watching Morning Joe, and I think her name is Elise. It's one of the reporters. They're doing a segment, and it's really worth watching. They're doing a segment on interviewing, a panel of Republicans that are MAGA people that she's finding out their point of view on who they'll vote for and why. And Mylu brought it up today, and I just busted out laughing. Mylu has the 12 o'clock psychic show every weekday. And Mylu said something about some men shouldn't wear shorts, and I just busted out laughing. Anyway, there's a panel of MAGA people, and they are talking about, why they want to vote for Kemp or Perdue or Raphael Warnock. I was horrified at what they were saying about Raphael Warnock, kind of belittling him, that he calls himself a reverend. Well, he is. And also saying something about no way would we vote for Stacey Abrams. Like, what'd Stacey Abrams ever do to you except want to serve you? It's really an eye-opener. But what struck me the most was people. Where is your sense of self-care? And I'm just going to leave it at that. And if you watch Morning Joe, you can always find clips on YouTube afterwards. Where's your self-care? Do you, physically? You'll know what I mean if you see it. I just dropped cards all over the floor. Anyway, we have to take care of ourselves. You know what I'm saying? Well, let's see what we have here. The cards that fell, because these feel relevant. Oh, and there's 3. Just like that. The guides just went, here's your cards for your first question. Get on with it, Annette. It's almost 15 minutes. People are busy. Sorry. Well, here's what I was talking about. The discontent. This is a discontent and boredom I think you can see that the right way. The discontent and boredom, these cards are a little different. I'm into different cards lately. Last time it was the kind of rare, I heard, Voyager deck. This is about, the American people are going to get a little bit discontented with what's going on and a little bored. Hearing the same old story about politics. It's about the political races, that kind of thing. The primaries and all that. Foundation and achievements. Actually, this reminds me that Madison Cawthorn did not get elected. He lost his seat. I'm not sure when he actually has to leave. I don't know what the timeline is on that. But anyway, and he did concede. To his credit, he did concede. Some people were like, gee, I wonder if Madison Cawthorn is going to come back and fight that. But I know he isn't, because first of all, because he conceded, and second of all, because as far as Madison Cawthorn is concerned, the Republicans will not lie for him. They will not cheat for him. The Republicans wouldn't have done anything to keep Madison Cawthorn in office because he was a liability. Not that they're all that ethical or anything, but they just felt like the orgy thing, the cocaine orgy party thing was just going a little too far. So there's that. The material harvest. Well, this really feels like what I'm thinking, what I'm feeling today. Not thinking, feeling. It's the bottles from the bar go into the trash. That was really loud. So thinking and feeling today, more feeling today, I was that the Democrats are getting their act together. And that's all the Democrats have to do is get their act together. Seriously, it's as simple as this. The GOP has no plan to help you. The GOP has no plan to act as though we're in a democracy. The GOP is against you. It's really simple. The GOP supports violent white supremacy. Case in point, watch Tucker Carlson. I have a list. Okay, so I'm gonna check the other cards. That was sort of general about the general collective energy. I'm gonna check the other cards. But while I'm shuffling these, I just want to ask you guys, do you think that time is speeding up? Because I know that people say, well, as the years go on, time feels like it's speeding up. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about that I usually feel like I'm racing with the clock, even when I'm not in a big hurry. And it doesn't feel like habitual racing around as much as it feels like I feel like I'm trying to catch up with time speeding up. I'm interested in your comments. I do read your comments. I don't comment back hardly ever because I don't want to play favorites. So just don't think that I'm not reading your comments. And I have to read comments because I get these crazies sometimes where I'm just like, what? Are you kidding me? You really think that way? And then I block them. But it's despicable what some people will say, honestly. But I love when you say nice things. It means the world to me, so thank you. I want to just look at the CPAC thing. CPAC in Hungary. How dare they? How dare they? How dare they? This might be a long video because I keep thinking about other things that I need to ask that aren't on the list. And it's a long list. Talk fast. Okay. CPAC in Hungary. They feel so welcome and warm. They're being treated like royalty. Marjorie Taylor Greene, it feels like the queen in Hungary. She feels like the queen of Hungary. All right, now stop. Interesting. This is interesting. I see CPAC in Hungary, Tucker Carlson, and but I actually feel a little bit of fear. I actually feel like the Republicans that went over to Hungary and are hanging out with Orban in his autocratic form of government disguised as a democracy, where he's trying to run it like, real extremist, and, well, he is. People don't have any rights. I actually have this feeling, and it's a strong feeling, that they're over there and underneath they're going, ooh, this is kind of scary. I swear to you. They're weighing it out. I actually think, let's check the pendulum on this. Where's my other pendulum? I have 5 pendulums, or 4 pendulums, because I keep losing them. I want to see, is it true that the Republicans that are in Hungary right now with Orban are a little bit uncomfortable? Are they feeling a little bit uncomfortable? You know what? Honestly, they have it pretty darn good in the United States of America. And let's see. I'll get a list of who's there and who went. I think they're there now. I'm pretty sure they're there now. That's what I heard. I knew they were going in May. I want to get a list of who went. This is a thing now. Remember on the 4th of July, 2018? Talk about insult to injury. All those Republicans went to Moscow to hang out with Putin so they could learn how to overthrow the government of the United States of America. Entertainment purposes only. And now these Republicans are going to Hungary to hang out with Orban to find out how to do this autocratic thing. Stay awake, everybody. This is the United States of America. Stay awake. Do not go back to sleep. Be proud to be woke. How many are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It looks like there's about 7 of them went to Hungary. We shall find out who they were. We shall find out if Kevin McCarthy is on videotape giving the insurrectionists a reconnaissance tour on January 5th, 2021. Also, all will be revealed. I think, too, we're feeling the energy of this January 6th committee findings coming up. This is going to be like if you tried to ignore Watergate in I don't remember what the year was, 72 maybe? This will be like if you tried to ignore Watergate. Nobody could ignore Watergate when it was going on. I know we've got a gazillion more channels in America now. However, it's going to be such the talk that people won't be able to ignore it. And let us be grateful that we are not Russia, where the only news available is one state news media. So let us be grateful. Let us be grateful that there's actually an investigation going on. Let us be grateful that on January 6, 2021, we did not lose our democracy. We didn't. They're still trying to take it from us, but we didn't lose it on that day. So, all right. Okay, so, also, Viktor Orban, that's his name, right, Victor? He is all about not having a two-party system, having a one-party system. I'm just saying, this is what's going on with these GOP Republicans visiting Hungary. It's freaking me out. But let's go to the next situation. Mastriano or Ginny? How much nauseating energy can I take? Or Thomas? Let's go to Clarence Thomas. Clarence Thomas has gone full on autocrat. Clarence Thomas thinks he's the king. Clarence Thomas was a king in a past lifetime. I do get that. And Clarence Thomas is a big fat jerk, for one thing. And he's actually, you know, there are people in this country that are wanting to take the right to protest away from the American people. That is a very precious right. Susan Collins, when she called the police because somebody wrote in chalk in front of her house, was trying to make a big to-do of, you know, oh, I feel so threatened because chalk is scary. Oh yeah, chalk. Chalk it up for chalk. That's what I say. Chalk terrorism. Anyway, so now, you know, they're going all out, and Clarence Thomas is like, oh, well, you know, if you don't like it, tough. I mean, I changed the words, but that's what he said. If you don't like it, tough. We're the Supreme Court, and we can tell you what to do, like it or not. And I did, I was just listening. I didn't see, there were some hearings about these abortion bans, and I did hear a little clip of a doctor who talked about, this female doctor who talked about, and like one of the worst cases that she had was an 11-year-old girl. You might have seen this. She was on Joy Reid tonight, and how horrifying that was, a rape or an incest victim, and an 11-year-old girl. So the way that these laws are, if it's an 11-year-old girl, these laws will force that 11-year-old victim of incest or rape to bear a child. That's the way the laws are right now. I'm not saying this to disturb you. It's so disturbing. I'm just saying this so that we understand this is what we're up against. This is indirectly, it's murder. Indirectly, it's murder. And we'll get to the baby formula thing too. Because indirectly, that's not caring if babies die and being fine with that, which is murder. Much like when Trump just didn't take COVID seriously and hundreds of thousands of people died because he didn't do anything about the pandemic. He didn't use the playbook. He threw away the playbook for pandemics that was handed over to him by the Obama administration. So so it's amazing how little value a human life has in the eyes of some of these evil Republicans. And I know we keep saying Republicans, but it is Republicans, because I don't know any Democrats that voted for babies not to get formula that they need. I told you it was going to be a long show. Sorry. Okay, I'll stop apologizing. You can turn it off if it's too long. Clarence Thomas. We're going to look at Clarence Thomas. Okay, so Jenny Thomas, all this stuff came out about Jenny Thomas. All this stuff came out about Jenny Thomas, and it just keeps coming out. She wanted to put fake electors, and she was trying to install fake electors in Georgia just so that she could steal the election for Trump. Besides, you know, when you think about it, when we really think about it, maybe we don't, we get lost in all the news sometimes. Why on God's earth did they want Donald J. Trump to be president of the United States again? Can anybody explain that? He did a bad job. He was terrible at the job. If he was working for a company, they would have fired him. Like he used to say on The Apprentice. He would have been fired the first hour. Honestly. Clarence Thomas. Clarence Thomas. Not doing too well. Pretending he's doing great. Really delusional. Clarence Thomas. Not doing too well. I don't think he's very healthy, but he does have like the most utmost health care. We pay these people with our hard-earned tax dollars. And they're just like, oh, well, you just have to do what we say. We don't care. Thieves! What was I thinking about the other day? I was thinking about Pennsylvania and the race in Pennsylvania, and I think I was walking, because that's when my guides kind of talk to me. They won't talk to you if you walk with your device, just so you know. Your guides will talk to you if you don't have any devices on your head or anything. So anyway, I was asking kind of like our forefathers about, well, what do you think about what's going on in Pennsylvania? Because, you know, this is where democracy began. Can you believe this is happening? And this is what I heard. Bunch of charlatans. I laughed out loud. That was an interesting walk the other day. I was talking about that on the show we did on Wednesday night. It's just like all kinds of messages from Spirit. Edgar Casey said, you know, Edgar Casey, the sleeping prophet. I remember hearing or reading that he said that when we walk, that's when we really can communicate with our guides. Food for thought. Clarence Thomas, it looks like he's really kind of stuck. in a particular position. Backed up. I'll just leave it at that. I feel like there's going to be more people appointed to the Supreme Court. I do. And the world is watching. What does that mean? One more card. There's going to be some swift action on Ginny Thomas and Clarence Thomas. This is interesting. This is interesting. Okay, other pendulum. Is Clarence Thomas going to have to recuse himself for anything to do with January 6th? Is Clarence Thomas going to have to recuse himself from anything to do with January 6th? Give me the runaround a little bit, but it's going to yes. I actually feel like that's about... I keep picking up health problems. Does Clarence Thomas have health problems? Does he have health problems that are potentially debilitating? Not potentially debilitating. Is Clarence Thomas compromised physically? He's compromised physically. But it's saying not debilitating. I kind of get that he's got so much good health care. Lucky for him. Lucky is it, man. Because he did not earn that position. I don't care what anybody says. Clarence Thomas has no business being on the Supreme Court. Just like Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert and Gosar and Gomer and Mo Brooks and McCarthy. None of them have any business having this much power. Mastriano, we'll get to him. Oh my God. All right, let's take a look at what's going to happen with the Supreme Court. When does Ketanji Brown Jackson actually take her seat? I'm not sure. See, there's so much news that I really have to spend a lot of time Google. Being silly, it's Friday, I had a long day. A good day, but it was a long day. This is about the Supreme Court. Right? That's what I'm asking about. I think that the American people are going to get on top of things. I see good things for us in the Supreme Court. I see more Supreme Court justices being seated. How many? We'll look at that later. The guides are saying it's going to be after all this January 6th hullabaloo. Is that a word? It's going to be after all this January 6th ridiculousness in terms of, I mean, it's great that they're doing this. Just like, oh my God, it's so unbelievable what they've done. For some reason, I want to ask the cards how Trump is doing. I know. What's amazing to me is with all the heinous things the GOP is doing, it's unbelievable. Trump is starting to look like the lesser evil. Well, there's one of him and there's a lot more of them. That's why. You know what I mean? It's like, wow, he did all that stuff and then they did all that other stuff. Kind of like that. Wow. So how's Trump doing right now? I don't know if it's the photographers or the news organizations that pull these pictures from their files or what, but man, they've got some pictures of Trump that are really ugly. They're really, oh, it's just like Melania. Gag me. Anyway, it's just because he's such a horrible person. It oozes from his pores, like all the rest of him too. Like I just saw Stitt in Oklahoma. What an ugly person. It oozes from his pores, I'm telling you. How's Trump feeling? Well, I get... this is a very seriously bad-looking card. Stabs to the heart. I actually feel like that's physical congestion. I got congestion with Thomas, too. Physical congestion for Trump. Page of Pentacles. He's continually on the phone doing deals. That's all he does. He's on the phone doing deals, making deals. And it's funny because I kind of get the sense that There are people that he's calling that are just going, oh, I don't want to talk to him. Probably not taking his voice, letting it go to voicemail. Things have changed for Donald J. Trump. The lover card, he's really looking for people to love him. There'll probably be more rallies. It makes me a little bit nuts when I hear a news reporter say, oh, and if he runs for president in 2024, it makes me a little crazy. It does. It's like, why are you even saying that? I think they say, a lot of this they say to scare us. Is Trump running for president in 2024? Is he planning to run for president in 2024? He is not planning to run for president in 2024. Let's take a look really quickly at what's going to happen with Oz and McCormick in Pennsylvania. Another person that it makes me nauseous to look at. He's ugly inside and out. I'm not talking about physical appearance. If Dr. Oz was like a really amazing, beautiful human being, then it would be like, oh, look, he's kind of. No, never mind. I tried. You know, sometimes you try to stretch too far. No, Dr. Oz is revolting. I actually feel a little sick when I think about these people. It's weird. It's like, ugh, yuck. All right, Dr. Oz, and let's do Dr. Oz. Ruins the whole Wizard of Oz thing for me. I don't know. Does it for you? It just kind of ruins it. Dr. Oz, how's he doing? Oh, Tower card. Tower card, stalemate. Oh my gosh, these are bad. This is Dr. Oz in Pennsylvania. Tower card, stalemate, stabs to the heart. I got the other night that he was gonna win. I don't know if that was like my final answer because he did pull ahead, but I think it's still being contested or being recounted. But he's I see what this is. He's torn because Trump's calling him up and saying, just call it, just like Trump did the night of the election. I will never forget that. We were all like awake the night of the election, 2020. We were just like, oh my God, he can't have won. Because he got up there and he declared that he won. I was flabbergasted. I am telling you, I'll never forget that night. Like, I'll never forget a lot of things that happened when Trump was in office illegitimately. This is Dr. Oz. Trump is telling him to just say he won. And he's really conflicted. The guides are saying money changed hands. That's interesting. This is the most interesting job in the world, I think. Anyway, Three of Swords. That looks like Dr. Oz is going to lose. He did pull ahead, and that's what I was picking up on the other day. And, gosh. Let's see what's going to happen. Those cards were awful for Dr. Oz. Wow. I don't think he's feeling well. Wouldn't that be interesting if he wasn't well after all the charlatan, after all the snake oil salesman stuff he's done? Snake oil is probably better. Is there such a thing as snake oil? Anyway, charlatan. I got it again. Okay, so this Two of Swords is representing that the recount is happening. It looks like a McCormick win. Is it a McCormick win after all that? It looks like ultimately it might, it's like calling a sports game. Okay. Is Dr. Mehmet Oz going to win this one? No, but he was ahead. Like I said, I'm not sure what the status is. I think they're in a recount thing. Calling the elections is kind of like calling, what team is going to win. It's really contentious and it's really tricky. But I did see Oz pulling ahead. But we got to look at Mastriano because he's like the scariest thing going right now is Mastriano. Pennsylvania, wake up. We need to pray for our founding fathers to infiltrate all the dreams of all the Republicans in Pennsylvania that voted for this guy. The guy that was at the insurrection, who claims the 2020 election was stolen. Nobody in the United States of America has come up with any evidence whatsoever that there was anything nefarious that happened with counting the votes of the 2020 election. In fact, it was declared to be, after everything happened, the greatest turnout of voters ever in the history of America, and the safest, most secure election ever. I just had to say it because you just don't hear it. That is what happened. So this guy gets up there and he gets elected in the primaries to be the winner in the primaries, to be the governor of Pennsylvania. And the first thing that he plans to do is to get Biden out of office, to impeach Joe Biden. If you fear for the future of this country, you have to join our organization, Grassroots of Democracy, and join other organizations and get out there and get out the vote and fight, 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 fight. Do not be quiet. People like Loudermilk might be loud, the guy that led the insurrectionists through the Capitol. There was more than one. We have to be very loud. These Republicans are very, very, very loud. And if you watch that panel that I was talking about on Morning Joe, it's frightening how uninformed that segment of the population is. They will believe anything. So let's get them to believe that democracy is a wonderful thing and we need to keep it. Shall we? Mastriano. Shapiro needs to win. The Democrat needs to beat him. Do whatever you can. No joke. This is frightening. Do whatever you can to help Shapiro to win the governorship of the state of Pennsylvania. Our democracy depends on it. Somehow, through some things falling through the cracks in our democracy, and our democracy being very broken, somehow what happened is people in power got too much power. People used to have morals and ethics. Of course, not everybody, but a majority of the people. It was more in a majority of the people, they went to church, they didn't want to do bad things, they understood that what goes around comes around. There was a time in America that people did the right thing because it was the right thing. And I'm talking about people in government. That is no longer the case. Our democracy worked for a certain number of years, a lot of years, because it was based on morals and ethics and doing the right thing. That has gone out the freaking window. Is it forever? Let's look at Mastriano. I'm not looking to see if Mastriano will win the governorship of Pennsylvania. Pray hard. Remember, Joe Biden got in office, so the angels are with us. Mastriano, this is a test of our democracy. This is the star card. The governor of Pennsylvania, this is a test of our democracy. It's going to scare us to death. Mastriano is going to scare us to death. He's a sick man. I'm not sure. I did go through the list the other day. I have to look at where I wrote it down. I'm not sure if he's one also. There are several who was abusive to his wife. I have to look that up. I don't want to just be saying hearsay or making stuff up. But he looks like he would. I'll just put it that way. It's going to really test us. It's going to be really scary. Join Country First, Adam Kinzinger's organization that played a major role in unseating Madison Cawthorn. Let that be a glimmer of hope that he got ousted. Two of Wands. It looks like it's going to be contentious in Pennsylvania. This is like, what did I say the other night? It's going to be like being at the Super Bowl when the game is really close and your team, your whole heart's in. I'm in Patriots Nation. You know, back in the day. Brady went to the Buccaneers. But anyway, I digress. The Emperor, this looks good for the Democrats. And I'm going to ask now, I'm not even going to my list. I have so many other questions just popping into my head. Maybe I'll do an extra video this weekend. Boy, after last weekend was so brutal with everything that went on with all the shootings and everything. It's like, maybe we'll have a kind of a calm weekend, I hope. Anyway, let's take a look at if the Democrats are going to get a consistent, strong, loud message out. We need a movement. MAGA is a movement. MAGA got Trump into office in addition to Putin. Remember all those behind closed doors meetings? Okay. Are the Democrats going to get their messaging together? Because that's what it's about. That's what it is about. We have to love one another. We have to want our humanity. I've been mentioning to the Grassroots of Democracy group. It's a collective. It's not really my group. But anyway, I mentioned that, and I've mentioned it here before too. If you care about the human race, if you care about your children and your grandchildren and your nieces and your nephews and your aunts and your uncles and your grandma and your grandpa and your parents, but mostly if you care about the future generations. If the Republicans get in office and they're in control of the United States of America, it is game over for planet Earth. Let's be real. Game over for planet Earth. If only for that reason you fight hard to save democracy, that's a good enough reason. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Are the Democrats going to get it together? Well, you know, here's what's going to happen. The Democrats are going to be crying. Our democracy is going to be hurting deeply, deeply, and emotionally, deeply emotionally. You know, I keep getting that we're going to get shaken to the core. Not as bad as January 6th, but we're going to be shaken to the core about our fear of losing. So the Emperor's come up twice. Oh no, that's the King of Pentacles. Oops, sorry. King of Pentacles. That does look like a message. That does look like a common message. 2 more cards on that. Yeah, the Knight of Pentacles. This is about getting clear. This is interesting. We have some people with a lot of money backing the messaging from the Democrats. Plus, you know, the Republicans they're making themselves look very bad. Not even caring that those African Americans got shot. Not even caring. They don't even care. They don't. It's beyond comprehension for me that they wouldn't care about that. But let's understand that evil doesn't have empathy, compassion, caring, love, none of that. Be grateful that you have love in your heart. I'm totally serious about that. The Democrats will not get a message together that's quickly enough, and it's going to stare us in the face. But eventually, we'll reach a tipping point, and it will be in favor of democracy. But let me just tell you, it's a brutal fight. I don't mean violence, but it's a brutal fight. It's a brutal fight. It's not easy. That's why we're visualizing the outcome that we want on at 20 on Tuesdays. It's getting to be long, so I'm not gonna go through everything here. Case in point. Think of the most heinous Republicans that you possibly can, and think about them voting to not feed the babies. I need say no more about how horrible they are. I need say no more about it, honestly, about how horrible they are. They voted against a bill to save the babies that will starve without formula. And that whole fiasco about the baby formula and Abbott, the fated name Abbott, I saw that it was nefarious what happened there. And then lo and behold, what do I find out? The FDA wasn't overseeing it the way they were supposed to be. The FDA used to be an ethical organization that really cared that people weren't harmed by food products or drugs, and they no longer operate the way that they used to, so nobody's safe, including the babies. And that those Republicans voted against, it did pass, but voted against feeding the hungry babies is the most despicable thing that I can even think of. And I'm not even a mother. I can't even believe it. I have to calm down. I did read on that the other night, and what I said was going to happen is happening. The Democrats come to the rescue. There's, you can't blame the Democrats. We've been very busy. Oh yeah, this is painful. This is painful. I'm telling you, the world is watching and the world is going, honestly. And Joe Biden said it the other day. He said he travels around the world and the world leaders are coming to them, coming to him saying, what's happening in America? What's going on? The world will come to our rescue. That's where we're at. That's what the corruption in this country has done. We used to be the ones to help other countries with their food shortages and with fighting for democracy, and now we're the ones that can't handle even feeding our babies, and yet the Republicans are making it impossible for a woman to decide to not have a child. I'm going to let you go, but before I let you go, I'm going to end it on a fairly positive note. The fairly positive note is, I do believe that democracy will win. And I do believe that these massive tests of our stamina and sticking to it, the massive tests, the resistance, this massive test of authoritarianism moving in, rearing its ugly head, loud and clear. I do think that we will win after we've been battered and pushed down. I don't mean literally. That already happened on January 6th. I do believe that democracy will win. I do feel that. There are enough good people in this country that will not let democracy fail. Let's just end with a few cards about that, shall we? I'm so glad that you joined me this evening. I'm surprised that I'm going to end before 1 hour because there's a lot more to talk about. But I have to upload this while I'm here at my office, which is going to keep me here for a little while. It's fine. I practically live here. So okay, so interesting. Okay, so these are the hopeful cards that I want to end with. Because it is a weekend, and where I live in New England, it's going to be a beautiful weekend. The sun is actually going to be shining, and it's going to be warm, and I can go to the beach. I probably won't, but I can go by it. This is, okay. Our cups are overflowing with good. The Queen of Pentacles, the women will help to save our democracy. I'm not going to read about Roe versus Wade tonight. I'm going to look at that next reading. And the Judgment card is karma is going to come back and bite them in the butts. All those who've been evil and heinous people. Karma. Now, I'm reminded of earlier when I said that I see these Republicans in Hungary with Orban, the authoritarian, learning from him, being a little frightened by what they see in that country. Could be a blessing in disguise. Keep your hopes up. I think I'm going to end every session now with, well, first of all, I already told you how to join Grassroots of Democracy, but democracy is winning. And so it is. Namaste. Love you guys. Thank you for your support. I'll see you soon.